We now reach the very last lines of the first section of the wasteland. The lines are a throwback to John Webster's play The White Devil. As usual, T.S. Eliot has carried out minor changes in the Webster passage, but these minor changes result in dramatic alterations as far as the effect of the passage is concerned. Where Webster uses wolf, Eliot uses dog. Where Webster uses foe, Eliot uses friend. You must remember that we are discussing the burial of the corpse. The corpse has to be buried. There cannot be two opinions on that. But the question is, has the corpse begun to sprout? Will it bloom this year? We have already said that in the thick darkness generated by the first section of the wasteland, there is a silver lining, and the silver lining is that after death there can be regeneration, there can be revival. The question is whether this regeneration, whether this revival will take place. It is in this context that the speaker identified with Tiresias advises to keep the dog far hence, the dog that is friend to men. Otherwise, the dog will with his nails dig up the corpse, preventing its regeneration, preventing its revival. Critics have interpreted the identity of the dog here in numerous ways. Perhaps the best explanation is that the dog stands for science, and science is friend to men in an ironical sense. We think that science is our friend. We think that science has given us so much that science cannot but be our friend. But science is the dog which will dig up the corpse and prevent regeneration and prevent revival. The section is wrapped up by a line of French. The French passage is from the 19th century poet Charles Baudelaire. It can be freely translated as, "You hypocritical reader, my fellow man, my brother." The French passage bestows a powerful universalism to the opening section of the wasteland. Everyone is brought under its ambit, Stetson included. The experiences enumerated in this section are not merely personal, they are universal. I would like to rehearse very quickly the successive elements that go into the making of the opening section of The Wasteland, titled The Burial of the Dead. The section begins with ruminations on how April, the glorious spring month of April, is the cruelest month. The seasons are overturned, and it is said that winter keeps us warm. What follows are reminiscences of royal children, which throws light on the decadent lifestyle of the European royalty in the years immediately preceding the outbreak of the Great War. The second part of The Burial of the Dead provides us with an arresting description of physical wasteland, of a desert where there is no water, not even the sound of water. The only solution is to move into the shadow of the red rock. T.S. Eliot makes use of two passages from the German composer Richard Wagner to enclose the beautiful hyacinth girl lines. The next part of The Burial of the Dead is completely dedicated to presenting Madame Sosostris, the famous clairvoyant and the wisest woman in Europe. Of course, I say these things with my tongue in my cheek. The next part presents the city of London as unreal city, as an inferno. We now come to the striking lines in which the speaker, identified with Tiresias, stops a person who is known to him, and the person is Stetson, and the person had fought with him in the Battle of Mile. The corpse had been buried. The question is whether the corpse will sprout, whether it will bloom this year. The question is whether there will be regeneration, whether there will be revival after death. There is a throwback to a passage from John Webster's play The White Devil, and the advice to keep the dog, which is the friend to men, far away is given, because the dog can dig up the corpse. The section comes to an end with a line of French, with a passage from the 19th century French poet Baudelaire, Charles Baudelaire.